What up, dope? This is Gktv Yikers. This is Pro with the Tools, episode 13. And here we go. What did I call this song? Let me look at the Pro Tools session. Yeah, I call it Lust Deluxe. And this is what I got going on with the Fruity Loops. Got some side chain going on the bass lines. A couple of plugins on it. And on my mastered, I don't have a limiter or a compressor or anything, so I can pretty much get a sense of where I need to set my drums and kick drums, bass, hi-hats, and bass lines and whatnot. And I got double layers on the bass right here. Right. Here's that. Here's this. Another side chain going on, right? So I made exports, and then I exported it to a folder on my desktop, and from the export to the folder on my desktop, I exported the MIDIs as well, just in case, you know, I want to go back in it on a different DAW and mess with the MIDIs. I got it pulled up, lined up, and got me some headroom. You know, I took it down to 14 because when I made it in Fruity Loops, it wasn't that loud, but I'm always going to bring it louder in the post. Alright, so I patched back into the Pro Tools. I set my BPM to 115, and reason why that's important, because you want to, if you're going to open up plugins such as delays, it'll already automatically sync to the tempo of the project. Also, remember to save often. Alright, so most of the times if I'm doing like two bass lines, like if I'm layering a bass line, I would look at the one that starts first with the sound wave, and I'll just like pull it out so I can magnify it so I can see what's going on. So this one starts here, right? No. Okay, I magnified it. This one starts here, so I pretty much would do this. I blade here, and I'll pull this here so they can start at the same time, because I don't want those to cause a correlation, a difference in phasing. So if you got two waveforms that's on top of each other, you know, once you layer them like that, they'll phase out, and that can like make it sound like it's in stereo or mono, or make it sound like it's in a cup, and you don't really get a sense of the energy of, or the sound or the tone, right? I think I did the same thing with these two down here because I couldn't see it from the front, so I took it from the back end and see if they lined up, and I lined them up by pushing this over slightly. Most of the times, not all of the times, I don't work in grid mode. I really work in slip mode because, you know, once you time it up, you can already see that it's kind of like gridded up once you time it. And then like the grid mode was pretty much lock it into place. In the slip mode can really have you do finer slides. You know, if something's just like a cut here off, you can, you know, fix that. So I want to concentrate on these bass lines, so I'm pretty much might mute everything off for a second. Because when I made this track in Fruity Loops, you know, it took me a minute to find some bass lines that sounded just right, and I know I could do all the extra fancy on post-production. And this is the post-production side. All right, this is the top bass line. This is the bottom. You know, this is like you can hear a sense of the bass line, and this bottom part will give you the bottom, you know. What I'm searching for with this one, I just want to bring some more air into it. Let's try this fresh air plug-in. Subtle, but it's really doing what it's supposed to do to make it translate in the mix. Then I might, you know, boost some mid frequencies, some higher mid frequencies, maybe slightly with the high frequency. Let's see, maybe that low mid, take a little bit down, and then with this bottom part right here, hold on. All right, I ain't really do these last time on the last video because I was rushing through, but you know, every time you add EQ, it's gonna give it an extra boost in volume. So I want to match what my original signal were before EQ. So if I bypass it, that's the original. This is with the EQ with the volume down, so that sounds pretty much the same. So I'm good with that. And this part right here, the bottom bass, I would want to put some bite, maybe some grit. And maybe do some reduction EQ to make it less muddy. Make it cut through some more right there. Right, so unmute everything else. Wait a minute. Let me turn these down too. Boom, there we go. Yes, I got my bass lines ready, you know, where I think it's necessary. I created a group, a subgroup for those. So if I want to turn those up at the same time, now let me get that to the original. All right. So, all right. Raise it up by one. See how that sounds. Needs a couple more. All right. So the next part I want to come to is these right here. Let's see. Right. So I'm really trying to make that low flute sound stand out just a little bit more. Because it's like pretty much lo-fi chill, which is cool. And like, it took me forever to find some sounds, what I was going for, just to, and I found something else to layer with it, to bring it out, a little bit more. Just making it cut through a little bit more. Maybe some chorus. Not so much. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Even though the volume got raised up on this, I'm not going to take it down because I do want that to be boost, so I ain't got to really mess with it down here, so this can stay the same. This right here, just a side chain, just a sweet side chain, just real ghost in the mix, but it's really adding to the layers. But I got that kind of pan hard right. So when you look at this wave right here, kind of see why it's like thin on top here, but kind of thick on the bottom, because that's like most of the sound is being panned towards the right instead of the left. But if it was the opposite, it'd be thin on the bottom and thick on the top. to that since it's playing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, took out. It's like, hold on, you can really see what's going on. Let me open up this so I can show y'all what's going on. See this note? See what's going down here with this 100 and 220? That's gonna muddy up the mix. So that 20's not popping up no more, and that 100 and 200 is pretty much staying down, you know. So this is without it. You see the 20 and 50. Got rid of that because we don't need that. That'll mess up the mix. I'll just copy that one for that. Do the same with that. Let's see what this is. Let's see. Not bad. Put a little bit more oomph back in there. Take some high down. Check out the Yikers shirt. Yikers! Made by the awesome Ramadan at the Awesome Tees. And get you some bangers beats while you're at it. Yo. So the battery just, went kaput on the camera. But it's all good. We're just going to finish this out. And I'm charging it up for the next Pro with the Tools. So when we left off, That volume is cool because I do want it to come out. So when I started off, I had it all pretty much at which one hasn't been touched. Haven't touched these, so I put them all up to like level 11, I believe, and then I started to work with just different levels to make what I need to sit on top, what I need to bring down in the mix, what not. I did the drums already, especially with the kick and snare. Those two, bring those down. So that's what that's doing. So once you bus everything into one bus channel, so say if I want to just like play the music and then mute this out, or wait, I can mute it out, but I can't solo it out no more. Wait a minute, I'm lying to y'all because it's lying to me. Wait a minute. Oh, cool. I the last Pro Tools that I had would not let me do that. Let me try this again. Oh hell yeah, cool. Nah, I'm gonna put an EQ on the whole master because I'm gonna be EQing maybe EQing some of that like when I do my both channel. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Confusing myself. All right. Stereo auxiliary channel. Title it. Sign the channel. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. We'll go with this. And we'll do Cathedral. Save off then. Opened up the EQ so I can curve off some of the extra muddy that the reverb is going to give me. Boosted up some low, mid, high frequencies. Now this gonna make a bus send an auxiliary bus send to this channel over here. I think I do want some low end, especially if I just mostly this would be for that channel only. If I want to reverb something else, I'll open up another one like so. Auxiliary, title it. Readjust it. Yeah, let's try this. I know how to work with this better. Hmm. Put that on 17, 18. Copy that, put it there. Turn that down some. Mm, let's see. Alright. Now I think I'm ready to make the both channel auxiliary stereo, title it sign and input 3-4, send all music into 3-4. Remember, all the music stemmed out, separated tracks is going all into 1-2, which I label all music. Then this is going into 3-4, which is both, and these two is going to go into 3-4. Highlighted both, shift, alt, send it to 3-4. Alright, and now I will put some EQ. Concentrating right there because it's slapping. This genre of music doesn't call for the slap. Lost some pressure with the bass by doing that, so bring some of that pressure back up. All right, let's see. Cool. I might, before I put a compressor on, I might see what one of these tape plugins will do. Not bad. Gave it a little bit more high fidelity than I was going for, but let's try this other one. Like sometimes when you pull it, like pull these plugins down on your slot bracket right here, it'll pretty much switch up an algorithm and it'll wind up sounding different. And that's why I pulled it down because and kept it that way because it's giving me what I like. It went from sounding tight and shallow to a little bit more open and whole. All right, what's my next plugin? Okay. Compression. Should I put the EQ after the saturation? Because like if I put the EQ before the saturation plug in, that's curving off like the boomy parts and whatever, and kind of boosting up some frequencies. So the tape saturation plugin doesn't do much work. But if I put the EQ after the tape saturation plugin, the tape saturation plugin is getting what's the natural sound that's coming from the All Music and the FX effects and doing its thing, and then the EQ is taming what I wouldn't like about the tape plugin. All right, that one, do it that way. Word. Yeah, I think I can live with that one. I can live with that one. All right, one more step. Limiter. All right, so while I'm turning everything up, it's important to turn your master fader down to 0, so you can get a real good sense of where you need to be boosting your volumes at, right? And then if you got your monitor turned up, you want to turn your monitor down to like a set setting that you already start off with your monitor instead of having your monitor blasted. You kind of want to have it in the mid low range, for like starts, and then once you boost everything to where you always do with your mastering, or how where it sits, where the best loud at. I just turned up my inbox, or my vote, my preface, shall we say, and I'm not turning up my master fader. But if I had my master fader turned already up like I did before I started explaining, you know, when I was doing all this boosting in volume, it was starting to get all crunchy and distorted, and eh. But it was like, and I was like, oh, it was getting all crunchy and stored it, and it kept it slow. And once I, printed the track or bounced it over, it'd be low instead of the loud that I want it to be. So bring your master fader down to the 0 level and start boosting these guys right here. And then when you do your print track or you bus it, uh, yeah. So if you're bussing instead of doing a print track, have your master fader have nothing on your master fader. That, you know what I'm saying? Because I think it wouldn't work if it's like on your master fader. You want your master fader to be like as is, and you would make sure your both output goes out to, like, your monitors, or the output that, wherever your sound is gonna come out, whatever type of preface you're working with. But since I'm going to print the track, and what did I call this down? Track? Okay. You name it, 5/6, the input, output to 5/6, boom. And before I do that, I want to try something else. Want to see what some warp is going to do. Take it to 200. Don't want to thin out the sound. What is it? Auxiliary? Yeah. Hit a copy. Drag them all the way across. I ain't got to mess with the settings again because I think it's at a reasonable one. Don't really need it. It's kind of taking away the meat. I know what I could do. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's giving me the drag that I need, and it's not taking away from the frequency, making it sound thin or anything like that. And I had to play it through to get used to it because I didn't do most of that in the Fruity Loops. I ain't wanted to crash on me by doing too much. I already got some things going on. Oh yeah, I wanted to explain this too. I was using this with the kick drums and maybe a bass line, maybe a synth pad. And this little plug-in right here was a free plug-in by Pred, Analog Exception, and it kind of emulates an analog input, and it really took a lot of the bite off the drums, so I didn't really have to do so much work when it came to the EQing in the Pro Tools. Alright, busted out the 5-6. Armed the track. Alright, so what was I about to say? Oh yeah, this right here, I did some little post editing. I've faded this up right here, so it comes into the mix instead of starting off, and then I faded it off the end. The hi hat loop right here, uh, uh, when the music drops right here, kind of drop this, and then the hi hat fades back into, and then it starts to get loud again. When you thin down your lines, thin down your magnifying glass, you could tell that on certain parts, when I'm doing uh, doing these things right here, animation for like certain effects, whatnot, it may raise the volume or whatnot, but ain't nothing going really too crazy and hurting the mix, so I ain't gotta target a spot and then highlight it and open up my audio suite and go to my gain and do a gain reduction, and and do whatever minus, instead of opening up this part right here and going to like your volume, and then you're doing your automation right there, because once you start automating your things right there, you're not going to be able to use your volume right here, this thing right here, because it'll always reset itself back to the animation points. So I really don't do that, and that's time consuming. I just rather highlight it, go to my gain suite, and boost or reduce or boost, and render, and there you have it. All right. So what else I was about to say? All right. Yeah. Let me do something else. Got something else to show y'all. Take that off for a second. Save it. Okay, that already had an effect on it. But if I wanted to put an effect on it, I would do this right here. Um, Blade, hit Alt, drag it down, because it copied it, and I just drag it down to the other track. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing going on, so I could use that space. And this was part of another track too, this pink right here. And that was the only thing right there. So what I did is just bladed that, changed the color, changed the name, and then just drug it up to this track right here while nothing was going on, so I could save space. But if I wanted to, put some effect on that, shift, and go down, highlight down, go to your audio suite. I might keep that, just messing around. Turn it down though. Fade it in. Boom. Let me do this real quick. Turn it down a bit more. And then when I faded it and then I turned it down with the renderer, it kept the fade. So it rendered it with the fade. So I ain't got to do a fade again. But I wanted to chop out as soon as that part starts. And that's why you're magnifying and you zoom in, you zoom out, your squeeze in, your squeeze out is important. So you can do things like that. Get real surgical with it. Blade, X, I don't need that anymore. Cool. Let's play it back. That's dope. Okay, pad. What is that on? Okay, cool. I thought it had an effect on that channel, but it doesn't. Alright, what else I'm gonna do? I think that's pretty much it. Turn that up. I don't need a pitch shift on that. So I'm just gonna print this track just to show you how we do it. But I'm pretty much gonna go back, throw on my headphones, go in the back of the room, listen to it on loud, listen to it on low, listen to it close on loud, listen to it close on low, do a car test, keep that out, if you want to keep it up, you hit that red button right there, keep that up, hit that red button right there, then it's out some, let's send it to the track, yeah, we did. Cool. Yes. All right. Gktv Yikers. Pro with the tools. Episode 13. You already know what to do. Everybody have a blessed one. And hey, see you next time.